Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review. This is an unboxing review, and as you can see here it says Taccia. Now this is a pen that I honestly never thought that I would buy, and I will show you here. It is the Taccia Miyabi Empress limited edition collection, and it is the Winter Breath. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I already have a Winter's Breath, but I don't, and it is a Miyabi as well, but I do not have the Empress model. And the Empress model came out after I bought my original Winter's Breath. The Empress model, if you don't know, it has a King of Pen size nib, so it is a larger nib on the pen, and it's what I kind of really had hoped for in the original model. I saw this one going for a very good price, so I decided to buy the pen. So I think let's unbox the pen, and I will show you what it all looks like. So you get this lovely wooden box from Taccia. You can see Taccia is sort of burned into that grain there, and it just looks really nice. So if I lift the lid, and this is a quite a stiff lid, so just have to move it around a little bit, you will then see here a lovely piece of decorative paper with gold, which is quite beautiful. And then you see the Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath. So you get this card, and it describes the Winter's Breath. It's the Taccia's newest flagship design, limited edition of 288 pens worldwide. It takes several months to complete the hand-laid maquillé technique, Raden and Rankaku, on a hand-polished ebonite barrel of the Empress. And it is a limited edition body, and it is made in Japan, exclusive for Taccia. It is a cartridge converter, so you can see how either the converter or ink cartridges can be put into this pen. So let's take a look here at what you actually get. So you do actually get a spare Sailor converter, ink converter. Now you do already have one installed in the pen, or comes in a pack. I did buy this secondhand, so the converter was already used. Sailor typically nowadays are giving away spare converters. A number of years ago, there was a lot of complaints about Sailor made pens that the converters were leaking. So it's always good to see that you get a spare converter. You get this lovely pouch here as well. Kimono pouch. Very beautiful silk. I really do like this. So I will probably be keeping my pen in that. You do get a ink catalogue here, which just shows some of the inks in the Taccia range. Now, I did say the converter, it's a Sailor. And so this is made by, or the nib is made by Sailor, so you do get the converter. You also get a couple of Sailor ink cartridges as well, and then you get the beautiful Miyabi here, and this is the Empress Winter's Breath. Now, just to show you, I do still have my old version, so to have the comparison there side by side, I don't think I've actually seen any comparison before of the original next to the Empress version. So this is the original Miyabi Winter's Breath, and this is the Empress version. To start with, it looked a little bit more, maybe a millimeter wider, although I think all of the spec sheets actually show it to be the same size, both in girth but also in length. The first thing you notice though on the Empress here, on the top one, is that it has a ruthenium coloured clip and it is urushi lacquered and it has some eggshells there, whereas the original one here does not have that at all. Again, you have the crushed eggs, quail's eggs here around the body with Raden strips. I'd say that the Raden strips maybe on the Empress are a little bit wider and the gaps are a little bit wider as well. And then you have the same eggshells all the way down the body. I'd also say that the eggshells on the Empress, on this model anyway, is slightly more brighter white than this. And that's probably just down to the eggs. That's just something that you're going to see a variation on over time. Now, if I actually open the caps on these, and I will show you the difference between the two nibs. And you can kind of see there, it is night and day. So on the left there, you have the Miyabi Winter's Breath, which is a number 6 size nib. I have that in a broad nib, and on the right is the King of Pen nib on the Empress there. And that is a medium nib. So you can see the difference between these nibs. They really are quite a difference. Now, interestingly enough, I always thought that the Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath, which is the one with the smaller nib, that nib just looked a little bit too small on this pen. So I am really glad that Taccia did listen to us collectors and decided to make one with the King of Pen nib, and also Sailor agreed as well. This really is a beautiful pen, and the section I do notice is a lot thicker on the Empress model. Now you can see here in all its detail that clip is absolutely stunning. The way that they've urushi lacquered that clip, it's a ruthenium clip as well with the eggshells. These are quail's eggs, and you can just see there that the way that those quail's eggs, they are crushed and then they are tried, they actually, the maquillé artist puts them back together as best as they can onto that urushi of a pen, and then they lacquer over it. Now you also have those Raden strips there of abalone as well, and you can see that it just follows the whole of the pen round. So this really is a beautiful pen. And honestly, this pen was really out of my price range when it came out. The Winter's Breath was out of my price range, but I managed to get a good deal from Bryant at Chatterley Luxuries. This one I saw being sold on the used market recently in 2022, so I decided I just had to pick this one up. Now, I do wonder, do I really need two? And the simple answer to that is no. Would I like to have two in my collection? I guess the simple answer to that is yes, maybe. But I don't know, maybe I will look at selling my original Winter's Breath at some point. I'm probably not going to sell it immediately. I'm going to just have them both in my collection, and I will just see how I feel about it. But you can see here really that the two pens are almost identical. The real thing, once the cap is on, is the clip, and that's how you really notice the difference between the two models. So just like the original Miyabi here, you have a tapered point here on the cap finial. And just look at all of that quail's egg. The amount of detail that goes into this pen is amazing. Now, originally on the original Miyabi Winter's Breath, it was a limited edition run of 88. On this one, it's a limited edition run of 288. Now, the cynical in me would say that, okay, they had a really good run on the 88, it sold out really quickly. So maybe they are just trying to leverage by doing a larger 288 limited edition one. I think this is a beautiful pen, and to be honest, I wouldn't blame them for doing that. I do think it's a pen that the original Winter's Breath, which was more of a flat top, flat ended pen, sold out really quickly, and I think, if memory serves me correct, it was around 30 or 35 limited edition one. So the first Miyabi here, Winter's Breath, that was then 88, and then this one is 288. So this is a cigar-shaped pen. It is an oversized pen as well. You can see how it tapers out to the cap here. There is a slight step down there that you will notice. It's not a huge one, probably about 1 millimeter, maybe 2. And then it starts to taper on down to the end. Now, you can feel these Rawdon abalone strips, and you can also feel some of that quail's egg as well. So although there is a Urushi lacquer over the top of these, you can still feel it. And that's a very good reason as to why I don't normally post my caps. Now, if I unscrew the cap, I've already shown this to you already, but you do have a number 8 size King of Pen nib, and you can just see that there. It is a 21 karat gold nib, 18 karat gold nib, and it really is beautiful. The section is quite wide. The section is also shorter as well, but you can see there the quail's eggs do repeat from the body. It is a cartridge converter. Now, these do have metal threads, so you cannot eyedropper this pen, but you do have a Taccia, well, actually it's a Sailor branded converter here. Typically, they normally have Taccia, but on a Taccia pen, but this is a Sailor branded one. Can you post the cap? You can, and it is designed to do so, but that pattern is not really going to match up, I think, unless you, yeah, it's still not going to match up properly. But again, because of the quail's eggs here, it's not something that I would want to do. Although there is a Urushi lacquer over the top of this, you could still end up chipping or scratching some of that finish. So I'm not sure that that's something that I would really want to do. But this is a beautiful pen. I love it a lot, and I have to say, I don't have any remorse in buying that pen, even though I already had the previous model. Typically, I don't go in for multiples of the same pens. There's a few pens in my collection that have been multiples, but it typically is fairly rare. So I think with that, let's do a size check. We'll do a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the length of the pen, we are looking at about 150, I want to say 157 millimeters in length. The length of the cap is about 70 millimeters in length. And then the length of the body to the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, we are looking at 135 millimeters in length. So this is quite a long pen, and you can see that there in the size of my hand. It is actually quite a good size of a pen. So I think with that, let's do a weight check. So the full weight of the pen, and this is uninked, we are looking at just over 42 grams in weight. The weight of the cap, we are looking at just under 13 grams in weight. And then the weight of the body here, we are looking at just under 29.5 grams in weight. So it is actually a bit of a a weight. It's not sort of in the low 20s, but it is a really, really nice weight of pen. So I think with that, let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Ryan Crusac Legend 16 in the Dragon Slayer. We have a Pilot Custom Yorushi in the Vermilion. We have a Danny Trio, and this is the Cage Momata Chinkin. We have a Danny Trio Makie Moonlit Grass. We have a Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath. We have a Taccia Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath. We have a Nakaya Long Cigar, and this is in Toki Tamanuri. We have a Nakaya Long Cigar, and this is in Heki Tamanuri. We have a Pelican M1000 Raden Starlight and a Pelican M1000 Raden Sunlight. So I think let's do a writing sample. So this is the Taccia Miyabi, and it's the Empress, and it's the Winter's Breath, and this is a medium, and it is an 18 karat gold nib. Now, typically, this nib is made by Sailor, and the Sailor King of Pen nibs are normally 21 karat gold. So it's an interesting that this King of Pen size nib is only an 18 karat gold nib. Now, the ink in here today is Diamine, and it is ultra green, which for me is actually quite a nice green. Now, if I do a line variation, you're getting about, I'd say, a fine line. This is a medium nib, but it's an Asian nib. So typically an Asian nib, a medium would be a little bit more closer to a fine. Now, can I push this nib a bit more? Yes, I can. I can get it almost to a broad. I'm not going to push this nib though, because it is a King of Pen nib. I'm not going to push it anymore. But you can see there are no hard starts or skips. Now, in terms of ink wetness, let's take a look. That is actually quite a nice wet line. It's not a fire hose of a nib, but it's also not really what I would expect from a Sailor nib. Now, what do I like? What do I not like about the pen? I absolutely am a fan of this crushed quail's eggs and abalone shell Raden effect. It's a beautiful, beautiful pen, and I have to say, I really, really do like it, and that's why I bought it. What do I dislike about the pen? Well, the price is one. It's not a cheap pen. If you have some disposable income, then it certainly is worth it, I would say, in terms of buying it. These pens typically don't lose value. They sometimes gain value. So I do think it's probably a good investment. It is a cartridge converter pen, and a lot of people do expect more on a pen that is over 1,000. And this is certainly at retail over 3,000 US dollars. So this is an expensive pen for sure. I do like the pen. I do find though that this section is maybe a little bit on the shorter side. I understand why they did it, because of the longer size of nib, so they couldn't really make the section any longer unless they were going to actually change the length of the pen, or maybe the length of the cap. So there is that to it. It's also a cartridge converter with metal thread, so you cannot eyedropper this pen. But honestly, this beauty, I wouldn't want to eyedropper pen in any way, shape, or form. It really is a stunning pen, and I have to say I am glad that I added this to my collection this year. And I still don't know what I will do about the original Miyabi Winter's Breath. Maybe I'll keep it, maybe I will sell it eventually. I will just wait and see. But there you have it. That's my review and unboxing of the Taccia Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath with a medium 18-karat gold nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.